You're in a cult. Call your dad. What I wanted to talk about today is why so many of the biggest influencers in the beauty community, particularly those who talk about skincare, don't talk about drunk elephant anymore. A lot of us are trying to be more conscious consumers. We're trying to support brands with values that align with our own. I just want to say that, of course, there is no brand that's perfect. And I thought it was really important to have a sober conversation from someone who's a consumer, just like you. I'm not an influencer. I've never gotten free product from them. I was just like you. If you love Drunk Elephant or hashtag drunken love, I was with you. And I just wanted to talk about my personal consumer journey about how over the years I was growing more and more uncomfortable with how the brand presented themselves and interacted with their customers. And of course, if you're not really following skincare on social media and following the beauty community super carefully, you might not have been able to piece together why all of a sudden they seem to have dropped off your Instagram feed, or no one's talking about them on YouTube anymore. I'm just gonna go and do a quick recap on what's happened. I'm gonna talk about my personal consumer journey and my relationship with the brand. I will also give some product substitutions in case you also choose to not support the brand anymore, or you're not comfortable giving them your money anymore. What are your options? And of course, this is a personal choice, whether or not you want to continue purchasing from a brand. Everyone has their own reasons. Some people don't think that, a brand's values is important. If you have good products, that's it. But, to each your own. Seriously, no judgment. And I'm not in this video saying doing this is bad, this brand is good, this is bad. Just me talking and hopefully helping you become a more informed consumer. First, I'm going to talk about my personal relationship with a brand. And for me, beauty and beauty products is such a special category because it's such an emotional category. You don't talk about loving a blouse as much as you love this lipstick. When you really fall in love with a product, you evangelize it. Everyone has their own holy grail products, which is what makes the whole category so fun and interesting to get involved and watch YouTubers and follow people on Instagrams and read reviews. It's because we're all engaging in these relationships with these products. Just like real relationships, they kind of run their course. Some relationships are for a season, a reason, or a lifetime. And that's kind of the beauty and the joy of this category. That's unlike any other that's out there. The whole concept of the consumer relationship with their products and with brands is kind of a lot of what inspired so much of what I'm doing with Glou Beauty. You fall in love. You fall out of love. And then we have all this crap lying around. It's not even used. So where do you take that stuff, right? So that's why I launched Glou Marketplace, and I'll talk a bit about that later. Also, I'm wearing my elephant sweatshirt made by a Toronto company called Cotton, K-O-T-N. I'm a huge fan of theirs. They're all about fair trade, sustainable, ethical cotton, and everything is Egyptian cotton. It's the highest quality cotton you can get, and they offer all their products at very fair prices. All the Glow Queens t-shirts are printed on cotton t-shirts because I'm so not about throwaway culture. If I'm selling you anything, it's not fast fashion at all. It is the best of the best, and I really believe in it. The 9 women that I featured on my t-shirt, they change the beauty industry in really fundamental ways. But again, they're not perfect. And I just want everyone to keep that in mind as I'm chatting and giving critique on a brand. I'm really against cancel culture because it doesn't allow people or brands to be able to change and evolve over time. So you might call them out on something, But like, that's it. Like, you kind of just cut them off. Like, you're not allowing anyone the opportunity to grow and learn from mistakes. So cancel culture sucks, and I'm not canceling anyone right now. Okay, so back to my journey into like beauty. I didn't really know anything about beauty like 4 years ago. I was just kind of like dabbling in, like I had like concealers, mascara, like the basic of all basics. And then I kind of got more interested in skincare. And of course, there's this brand that really spoke to me on an aesthetic level, and that was Drunk Elephant. Sephora is such an intimidating place, but there was this brand that was fun, and they taught me to be more aware about ingredients. They have what they call their suspicious 6. So they were a big part of me like exploring skincare and figuring out what products work for me, and they were a big part in the beginning of my just fascination with all things beauty. Like, it's such a technical category, it's so nuanced. It's not like a surface level industry at all. Like, there's so much depth to it, which is why I think it's so interesting and so misunderstood. Anyway, so I found this brand and everyone was raving about them, and it was so inviting. They had these animations that were so fun, and you know, they made it really easy to fall in love with them. And their products were expensive, yes, but they work. Like, they were really good quality products. So I bought like everything. I had everything from their line, and I was excited about every new launch. I've tried most of what they've come up with, but throughout the last, I would say, couple years, because I was always buying the latest launch and whatever, and I'm a huge skeptic when it comes to beauty products, because I know so much of it is led with marketing. There's so many cognitive biases that go on, like whether or not you've heard other people talk about a product in a certain way, or it was recommended to you by a peer, whether or not that's a friend or an influencer, and you're kind of like, wow, like this really works, this must be a great product. And like, this is why influencer marketing is such a huge industry, because it works. So I'm a skeptic, so I don't think anything works, and I chalk everything up to marketing until I can see it with my own eyes. Does that make me a smarter consumer? Absolutely not, because that means I'm spending money buying these things and trying them. So like, I'm part of the system too. Yeah, so you know, I had all their products, but when it came to some newer launches, I just found the products that I bought initially were still like the best products. I just like wasn't falling in love with the products anymore. Basically, my experience with their new launches as they came up just didn't match the hype around the products, and I just felt like I was wasting money. And like, that's not good. And that goes back to how we all have relationships with our products and our brands. Like, if you end up buying a product that you're not happy with, but you feel forced to use it because you bought it, and now it's just sitting staring at you, like, that kind of tarnishes your relationship with a brand. So that's why I'm always like, let it go, it's fine. Like, the whole Marie Kondo thing, it's like, hello product, thank you for the part you've played in my beauty journey. It is now time to set you free and let it go. We don't need to have all this like emotional baggage that comes with beauty. Like, it's supposed to be fun, okay? And when it's not fun, like, you don't need that in your life. So yeah, so I was kind of like not so happy with the products I was buying, which is fine. But then on social media, like, everyone's still hyping it up. Like, there's some people's feeds that are like entirely Drunk Elephant, and I was kind of like, this feels a little bit worshipy, a little culty. And from like a business perspective, creating a cult brand is really tough, but also really, really special, because those are brand fans with blinders on. Like, who doesn't want a customer base like that if you're a business? However, as a consumer, like, it's kind of like freaky, the same way that stans of anything kind of freak me out. I'm personally like fascinated by cults and like societal psychology and like, you know, society builds cultures and how culture influences the way that people think. I've always been very cognizant of all that stuff, probably because I studied it in university. So like a big part of the reason I stopped watching TV and listening to the radio was because I just couldn't stand the commercials anymore. Because once you're able to identify all the things that are problematic, you just kind of want to point them out. That's a personal choice. Like, it just bothers me. I don't have the energy to like educate people, be like, this soap commercial is so problematic because it uses like traditional gender roles, blah blah blah. No, that's not me. Like, there are totally people out there who just like feel like they need to educate and point out the problems and everything, and that doesn't make me feel good when I look at their content. So like, that's not where I'm trying to go with this at all. So, you know, as I'm seeing kind of like culty, worshipy stuff going on, I was learning more about skincare, learning more about ingredients. And when I say learning about it, I don't mean like reading blog posts. Like, I do a deep dive into like, okay, if someone cites like vitamin C works, these are the molecules, like I will scan through the actual like peer-reviewed studies and I'm like, okay, cool. And you know, like, I don't believe in a consumer study of 10 women. 8 of these women found their skin looked brighter. I'm like, no, that's literally all just marketing jargon, garbage. I want to go down to the science. Like, I want to understand this stuff. So I'm learning more about skincare and the whole drunk elephant approach of the suspicious 6, treating all skin like it's just skin, kind of like didn't sit right with me anymore. And what really didn't sit right with me was that how anyone who produced evidence that was contrary to their position, they would just double down and be like, you're wrong, like, this is the philosophy, this is how it works. But like, the suspicious 6 comes from not really like a scientific like dermatology board. It comes from the founders' suspicion that these 6 ingredients probably cause these problems based on her own research. And like, I'm not saying these ingredients are good or bad. I'm just saying for a lot of people, it could cause problems. But for a lot of people, it might not cause problems. And everyone's skin is, in an ideal world, the same. But because just like everything else that happens in your life, like you have different environmental aspects, you have different genetic aspects that all come together and contribute to kind of like your unique makeup. That is why there is no one product that works for everyone. That's why it's so much fun to try different things and see what works and like talk to other people and see what works for them and like share your thoughts. Like, there's a reason like nearly half of all content on YouTube is beauty. It's a very unique category. So anyways, whenever someone says like, hey, I'm breaking out from your product, they would just kind of respond and be like, this is purging. It's because you've used bad products in the past, and because you weren't using our stuff, it's caused you problems. Like, you can't like pin the problem on people not using your own products. You know what I mean? Like what? It's just so bizarre. There's just so much I could say about that. But anyways, that is like not how you treat your customers. That's like the old style of marketing, like a very traditional way of when brands didn't have conversations with the customers, when the internet didn't exist, where you could just like put up an ad and be like, this is how our product works, blah, blah, blah. And you're just pushing information at your audience, and clearly that's not working for them, but they stick with this very old style of communication and brand management. They say that they always consider constructive criticism, but honestly, like, when you don't engage in conversations and you just keep falling back on the same old excuse, like, that is not constructive criticism. Flash forward to this spring when the whole Black Lives Matter movement happened, and they didn't respond in a way that sat well with a lot of people. There was a whole movement called Pull Up for Change, and what it was that a lot of brands and beauty companies were sharing what their diversity actually looked like internally at their companies. So like, what percentage of your employees are BIPOC, you know, what percentage of employees are black, who's in charge of your management, who's making these decisions up at the top. They kind of refused to participate that, citing that, you know, they talked to their like black employees and they didn't want to be part of what was like a whole PR opportunity. They wanted to maintain their privacy, which is like a totally valid reason, but it just didn't sit well with people. And the way that they were responding to people in the comments was very like copy and paste. They were deleting people's comments, and there's lots of evidence of this. But like when you're looking at a thread of tens of thousands of comments, like I don't really know how you would find out if your comment was deleted, because like who's scrolling through all that? But anyway, I don't doubt they have deleted comments in the past, and they're like, we don't delete comments, like they were hateful, blah blah blah, so we want to remove that negativity. A lot of the comments were valid criticism that they didn't want to respond to. And you can see screenshots of all this from certain influencers. You might be able to find it at SD Laundry. Abby Marie Hardy made a really great video talking about her perspective as an influencer and, you know, her journey with the brand and how she made like the most minor of all comments about Drunk Elephant and then was removed from her PR list. And of course there's like Carolyn Hirons, who was like very much kind of contradicting a lot of the Drunk Elephant philosophy, and like they just cut off the relationship. Not engaging in conversations if they're not building relationships to be better moving forward and figuring out what's working, what's not, with the people they rely on. Basically free marketing. So for a lot of people, that was just kind of the last straw. The way that the brand hasn't been able to learn and grow from all this criticism has just kind of made people turn away from them. So yeah, like you really have to think there are other brands who handle customer care better. And honestly, like yeah, they have good products, but are they the one and only? Like no. There was totally a period of time where my whole skincare routine was Drunk Elephant. It's not anymore because it's like financially unsustainable for me. And also like I always want to try new things. 2020. What a wild ride we've all been on. This pandemic has been such a catalyst for so many fundamental shifts that we're honestly like, we're all kind of different people now. I've always believed in the idea of voting with your dollars. I don't feel good even when I see like the Drunk Elephant shelf at the store. Like I don't really believe in what they're doing anymore. And when your core customer doesn't believe, then like how do you gain that trust back? Remember when everyone was crazy about this brand called Sunday Riley, but then it turns out their employees were just making up reviews on every single site. I don't see them anymore on social media. I don't know if that's because of cancel culture. Like everyone makes mistakes. Some of them are more ethically clear than others, like making up fake reviews. Nothing is clear anymore in this new world that we live in, and we have to be more compassionate, be more empathetic, and be like, if I was in this position, would I have made a different decision? Especially when it comes to business. Money corrupts people. Money is a huge driver for how people make decisions within an organization. It's crazy. So I think like we can't just demonize like people or brands for making mistakes. But also, since like one of the biggest shifts is in how consumers look for products, 80% of all beauty sales still happen in store up until the pandemic. And now because so many of us are staying at home and, you know, not going to the mall and stuff, a lot of that purchasing is now online. So when people buy things and discover products online, you do a lot more research. So I just wanted to kind of gather my thoughts on all this for people who are consumers who just want to know more. And from perspective of someone else who's a consumer and has like no power and no real stakes in any of this, it's just like how I feel. You should know what's happening with the brand and how they're interacting with other people, because this information cannot be just found in one place. It's just happened over time, and as influencers, like, yeah, we're not using our platform to give them any more publicity. You can't find that information anymore. They kind of like just like post a story. They're like, yeah, I'm done with this brand, bye. And then you like, we're all just left wondering. So anyways, that's why I wanted to do all this. And whether or not you continue purchasing from brands that are not perfect, that's a personal choice. However, I did make a list of possible product substitutions in case you wanted to branch out of the drunk cult. I have a list of like almost all their products here. And here are just like some other products that I love that you can check out. And once again, I'm not like endorsing any of these brands as like morally superior. It's just like, hey, you know, sometimes it's just good to diversify even the brands we're purchasing from. Okay, like just spread the love, you guys. Like laser focused worship on anything is probably problematic. So anyways, okay, baby facial. Look, I'm a fan. I have baby facialed in airports because my skin hates travel. However, it is so strong, I don't think it's meant for most people. Like, my skin has kind of changed since I purchased my first bottle. It just hurts my face now, so I think that's just like my body telling me like, hey, let's not use this. I don't think it's a product necessary at all if you're using chemical exfoliating serums on a regular basis. Yeah, you can use too much acids and it is bad. So if you want something that's as strong as the baby facial, The Ordinary has a serum. It's like the color of blood, and it's very high in acids, and a lot of people kind of equate the two. So go check it out. I don't know what it's called because I'm not trying to like sell you a product. This is just all part of your research. In terms of a chemical exfoliant mask, that also packs a punch, at least it has for me. One of them is the Tata Harper resurfacing mask. So freaking expensive, but I love it. It made me poreless, and that's when I fell in love. And I also really like the Grown Alchemist Enzyme Exfoliator. Another cult product, their Pharma Vitamin C Serum. A very equivalent product is a SkinCeuticals CE ferulic acid, and I mean, it is so similar that L'Oreal, I believe, is suing Drunk Elephant for stealing their formula. Alternative for Pharma, their vitamin C serum, they are suing that L'Oreal is suing Drunk Elephant for stealing their formulation. One of the reasons I've bought Pharma in the past is because the SkinCeuticals version is quite a bit more expensive, and I was like, this is so similar, it works. So that's how I justified Pharma's pricing for a very long time. So yeah, if you want something that's super similar and you feel strongly that you do not want to give Drunk Elephant your money, go look there. Otherwise, there are other vitamin C serums out there. There haven't been any that I like as much as Pharma. But yeah, that's kind of my, that's my thoughts on that. Also, Drunk Elephant, their minis, like the little mini kits, most of the time, the $1 per ounce, it works out better if you buy the minis continuously than buying a full-size product. Look into it. Do the math. Okay, Protini. I did a blog post on a potential dupe, and the ingredients list is shockingly similar. A lot of the same core active ingredients, and that's from it's the Accure's Rejuvenating Night Cream. Oh, I watched a video and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez uses it too. Their marula oil, so famous. I had a friend that I visited in Moscow. She's like, oh my gosh, how is Drunk Elephant's marula oil? Because influencers reach literally everyone, everywhere. And when you can't find a product, you just like really want it. She asked me my opinion about it. It's good. It's fine. I've never super loved it. If I really feel like I need to put a really soothing oil on my face, I use Herbivore's Phoenix oil, Noni Glow from Cora Organics, and also Used to the People's oil. But the Noni Glow oil I find is like the most nourishing heavy oil that I feel like really soothes my skin. Okay, TLC Framboos, that's their exfoliating night serum. Used to really like it, however, I now prefer Pharmacy's Honeymoon Glow. It's really, really good, and it's also cheaper. F-Bomb, one of the products I got, and I could not stand it. Did not like it at all. It's an overnight hydrating mask. One of my favorite products of all time is a Youth to the People Dream Mask. It's the yellow guy. Like, best beauty purchase of 2019. I love it so much. It works amazingly for me. And like, when I wake up, I can actually see the plumpness in my skin. Their Bee Hydra Serum, their hydrating serum, never really loved it. And if you want a hydrating serum that's similar, try Glossier's Super Bounce. Lala Retro, it's like a thick cream. The people I know who have really loved Lala Retro are people with like really dry skin or sensitive skin, but a lot of Drunk Elephant's products are not for people with sensitive skin. Like, I'm talking to people with skin so sensitive, like you put anything on it and it burns. Try Youth to the People's, the brown cream, the brown one, the adaptogen cream. That one has worked for my sister who has super sensitive skin, and like between that one doesn't bother her and La Mer doesn't bother her, and that's it. Their cleansers are fine. Bestie, kind of in the mediocre-y. But for like a really great refreshing cleanser, try the one from Grown Alchemist. And when it comes to the bar cleansers, I haven't found a facial bar cleanser that I like more. I find the Herbivore ones very drying. The Slay makeup remover is kind of one of the worst cleansing balms I've ever used. It just made me feel so greasy and gross. I really like the good old Pharmacy Green Clean. It's not that expensive and it works really well, although I do find if it gets my eyes, it makes my vision kind of blurry, which is a little bit concerning. But oh no, cleansing balm. You know what? Holy Frog has a really great one for a cleansing balm that does wash off quite well, but I feel like it's super expensive for what it is. Anyways, it's an option. Their Drunk Elephant sunscreens, try them both. They suck. It just smells like cottage cheese to me for some reason. I don't like the feeling of sunscreen in the first place. So, I mean, if you want something really thick like that, definitely Supergoop has so many great options. But my personal favorite sunscreen is the one from SkinCeuticals, the UV Defense. It's like a liquid, it's like a fluid sunscreen. It's the only one I've ever tried that doesn't make me want to like claw my face off at the end of the day, because I find they all break down. But it's a mineral sunscreen and it's a classic. Lots of people like it, and I just find it truly doesn't feel like anything. And that's kind of all I have for Drunk Elephant product substitutions. I hope you have found this helpful, helps you engage in the conversation a little bit more. And you know, there's options for getting products even if you don't want to give money to a company. You can always buy it off someone else, because lots of people have products that don't work out for them, and they sell them kind of like in disparate little corners of the internet. But if you have Drunk Elephant products that you don't want to hang on to anymore, feel free to list them on Glou Marketplace. You can sign up at marketplace.glou.co, and it's also like an awesome way to get products, you know, because the most sustainable option out there is always something that already exists in the world. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. So don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell. I am so grateful for anyone who supports me in any small way on this entrepreneurial journey of mine, and I will see you guys soon. Okay, bye. Videos here. Subscribe here. Not the other way around. Come on, go check it out. Check out my videos. I spent a lot of time on them.